Hello guys, this is Google Fly Cup Challenge Lab number 1. Let's start the lab and go to task number 1. Okay, on task number 1, we have to create a dataset called DRL. Then we have to create and load tables with data. Let's first activate the Cloud Shell. Okay, our data is stored as CSV file, and that is available in this Google Cloud Storage location. What we have to do is we have to import each of the CSV file in this location to BigQuery tables. We have to match the file name with the table name. Okay, so here we go. Our Cloud Shell is active. I'm going to create a data set first, BQ MK DRL. That will create our data set. Okay. Now I'm going to list all the CSV file in the storage location using gsutil-ls bucket name /star.csv. You can see all the files here. I'm going to store the result in a text file, table list.txt. Let's open the editor. You can use this code here, but I'm going to show you how to create and load tables with data using Python SDK. So we can see our tables here. First, create a file called load tables.py. Import pathlib and create a path object. Let's read the data. Okay, I'm going to print it so you can inspect the data. Here you go. You can see the storage locations here, right? Now I'm going to split the lines. This will output a list. Yes, you can see that the output is a list. Each item in the list is a storage location. Now I will show you how to extract the file name from the source URL. Create a path object. Now extract the table name from the path object and print it and print the table name. Okay. Okay, let's see that. Beautiful, isn't it? We have extracted the file name from the source URI. That's it. Now let's import the BigQuery module from google.cloud. From google.cloud, import BigQuery. We need a variable to hold our project ID. So let's create that. Let's copy the project ID from the lab, place it here. Similarly, we need a variable to hold the dataset ID. Let's create that. Project name, project ID dot dataset name, and our dataset name is DRL. So that's it. Similarly, we need to create our table ID as well. So for that, I'm going to create a function here. This will take as input the table name and output the table ID. Let's print the output. Beautiful, isn't it? Project ID, dataset name, and table name. We have matched the table name with the file name. Now let's load the data. Now to load the data, we need a load job configuration, right? So let's create that. Load job config. I'm going to create a function get load job config that will return BigQuery dot load job configuration. We are going to auto detect the schema. So set auto detect to true and the source format. You can see that all the files are CSV files. So set the source format to CSV. Okay. That's it. Now let's create our job. Oh, we haven't yet initialized the client. So let's do that. client equal BigQuery.client. Pass our project ID here. That's it. Now, if you want to create a reference to the dataset, you can do it here. Dataset reference is equal to client dot get dataset of dataset ID. That will do. Here, let's use the client and create a job. We are going to load the data from a URI. So client.load table from URI, set the source URI to URI and the destination to the table ID and job configuration, load job configuration. That's it. Let's wait for the job dot result. When the job finish, we can get the table ID. Here you go. Table is equal to client dot get table, pass the table ID here. Okay. And let's print the number of rows that was inserted. Okay. Table name created and number of rows equal to table dot num rows. Okay, that will do. Let's save this. Go to the console. And run the file. Beautiful, isn't it? We can see the tables are getting created. We can see the number of rows here. That's it. Let's wait for this. Okay, all the tables are inserted. Now we can close this and go to BigQuery. Beautiful, isn't it? We have matched the file name with the table name and all tables are here. That will complete our task number 1. Okay, that's done. Let's move to task number 2. Events in a certain city. We have to build a query that display all the events in the city given here. Just copy that. Here we go. Our query result should have only one column, and we have to label it as name. The table to reference is events table. So let's go to BigQuery. Let's open the events table. Here we go. These are the fields here. We have to filter using the city field, and we need the name field. Okay. So let's open the query editor and fix the query. Where city equal, we just need the name. Let's run this. Okay, we got the output here. Let's go back and check the progress. Beautiful. Go to task number 3. Event pilot names. Okay, we have to build a query that display pilot name with its corresponding event pilot ID. Okay, table to reference event pilots and pilots table. Let's go back to BigQuery. Here we go. The pilots table have all the data about the player, about the pilot. Okay, we can see the field name, first name, last name, country, etc. And event pilots, it is like a link between events table and pilots table. So we can join event pilots table with pilots table using the pilot ID field and the ID field. Okay, I will show you how to do that. Copy the table ID. I'm going to call the pilots table as P, and here's the condition. E dot pilot ID is equal to P dot ID. Now we want 2 columns, name of the pilot and event pilot ID. Okay, P dot name, that's pilot name, and P dot ID as event pilot ID. Now let's use group by to group the fields. Okay, P dot name, comma, P dot ID. Beautiful. Let's run this query. Beautiful. You can see the pilot name here and the ID here. Okay, that will complete task number 3. Let's move to task number 4. Pilots who flew in an event. Okay, we have to build a query that display all the pilots who flew in California Nights event. Okay, let's copy that. We have to reference 3 tables here. event pilots, and event ID. I told you the event pilots is a link between the pilots table and events table. Let's go to the BigQuery. Let's close this. Let's open the events table. Okay, we can use the event ID field to join the events table. We can use the pilot ID field to join the pilot table. Okay, let's write the query here. Put a star, and here we go. I'm going to call the event pilots table EP. I'm going to join this table with the pilots table using copy the table ID. I'm going to call the pilot table as P, and the condition is here. The pilot ID is equal to P dot ID. Also, we have to join the events table. So go to the events table, copy the table ID. I'm going to call the events table as E. And here's the condition. We are joining on EP dot event ID with ID field of the events table. Okay, we can see the green tick mark here. What else? We have to output two columns, right? Pilot name and event name. Let's do that. Okay, P dot name, that will give us the pilot name as pilot name. And the event name, E dot name as event name. That will do. Now we have to group by. Group by P dot name, comma, E dot name, right? Let's run the query. Okay, you can see the results here. Let's go back and okay, we have to filter the table, right? On the event name. Okay, we only need the information from this particular event. So where E dot name is equal to California Nights. Let's run the query once more. This time, all players who participated in this particular event. Okay, let's come back here. Check the progress. Beautiful. Move to task number 5. Average time of rank 1 round. Okay, we have some helper code here. We have to reference the round standing table. Okay, let's first go to BigQuery and inspect the round standing table. Here we go. These are the fields. We have round ID, event pilot ID, rank, points, minimum time. Okay, what we have to do, we have to build a query that display the average minimum time of a rank 1 placement. So we have to filter using rank is equal to 1, and the resulting query should have just one column, and we have to label it as average. Okay, let's go and open the query editor. I'm going to put a star here. I'm going to call the table as R, and here we go. Use the where clause to filter rank is equal to 1, right? We can look at the preview. We can see the rank. We only need rows where rank is equal to 1. So let's put that here, r dot rank equal to 1. And okay, we can use this helper code to calculate the average time, right? Average minimum time. Okay. Okay, we can see the green check mark here. Let's run the query. Okay, we need to label the column as average. So let me do that and run it once again. Beautiful. We have the results here. Let's go back and check the progress. Okay, that's done. Move to task number 6. Clean and combine time trial data. Okay. Okay, this is a big one. Okay, let's start with the tables. We need to join the following tables. We have to join the time trial group pilot times table with time trial group pilots and time trial groups. Okay, let's first inspect the table here. Go to BigQuery. I'm going to close all these and open time trial pilot times table, then time trial group pilots. We need one more time trial groups. Okay. 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 We need to join these 3 tables. So okay, here you go. We can use the field time trial group pilot ID of this table to join the time trial group pilots table on the ID field. Okay. Similarly, this table has a field time trial group ID. Check the name of this table, time trial groups. This table has this ID field, so we can join. So let's build the query. Here you go. First thing, I'm going to call the table as A. Let's put a star here so that we will have the check mark here. I'll show you how to join the tables. Okay, we are going to join this table with time trial group pilots table. So go to the details and copy the table ID. Come back here, paste it here. I'm going to call this table as B. Now we have to write the condition on which we are joining. Okay, A dot time trial group pilot ID is equal to B dot ID. That is fine. Now we need to join the third table. Let's go to time trial groups. Go to detail, copy the table ID, come back. I'm going to call the time trial groups table as C. So let's write the condition B dot time trial group ID is equal to C dot ID. Okay. Okay. You can see the green check mark. So everything is fine. Now what? Okay. Our output need to have these columns. So let me copy the first one. Here you go. The first one was time trial group pilot times ID. With that symbol, that's the ID of the first table. A.id as, here we go. What is the second one? Time trial group pilot ID. Okay, that's the ID of our second table. That's the ID of B. So B.id as that. Now, time trial group ID. You can guess that. ID of C, right? C.id as time trial group ID. Now what? Now we need round ID. Okay. If we go to time trial groups table, go to the schema, we can find the round ID field here. So that's C dot round ID as round ID. Okay, we can see a syntax error here. What was that? A dot ID. Okay, I forgot to remove the star here. Here we go. We get the check mark back. Now the time field. Okay, for the time field, you have to use the condition here. So, okay, we have to use this condition to calculate the time. Okay, so let's approach this one line at a time. First, we have to look inside the time trial group pilot times table. That's table A. Okay, if time adjusted column is present, it is the time to use. So let's come back here. I'm going to use callus function here. Okay. A dot time adjusted. If that is present, that's the time. So if we go inside the schema, we can see that the time adjusted is an integer field. We can look at the preview. We can see a lot of null values here. So what to do if the value is null? So let's go back to the lab and find out. Okay, if it is null, you have to look at time trial groups table. Okay, that is table C. Okay, on table C, we have to look in the raise stack scoring column, and if the value is false, you can take the time field of table A. Okay. Okay, what was that? The time trial groups. We have raise stack scoring here. It is an integer field. Let's go to the preview. This is our field. Okay. 0 means false. So if it is 0, we can use the time field. We can use the time field. Okay. So I'm going to use the if condition. If C dot raise stack scoring equals 0, then use A dot type. If that is not 0, then we have to use raise stack time field from table A. So A dot race tag time if C dot race tag scoring is not 0. Okay. So okay, that's it. We forget to put a comma here. We can see the green check mark here. Now let's go back. We have to label the column as time. So let's label it and let's run it. Beautiful. We can see the result here. Now we have to create a new table and save the output in this new table. Okay, so I'm going to create a new table here. Create or replace table. Now let's copy the dataset ID, paste it here as open parenthesis and closing parenthesis. Beautiful. Let's run the job. Here you go. You can see that a new table is created. Let's go to the table. We can see the fields. We can click preview to see a preview. Okay, that's it. Let's close every other thing and check the progress. Great. Now let's move to task number 7. On task number 7, we have to find the fastest time trial at an event. So, okay, we have to reference 3 tables here: time trial clean table, rounds table, and events table. So let's first go and check the rounds table and the events table. Okay, we have to join these tables. We have round ID in time trial clean table. We can use that to join the rounds table using the ID field of rounds table. Now, what about the events table? On the rounds table, we can see the event ID, right? We can use that to join the events table. So let's write the query. I'm going to call this table as T, and I want to join the rounds table. So go to the details and copy the table ID. I'm going to call the rounds table as R, and the condition. Okay, let's write the condition here. Condition is T dot round ID equal to R dot ID. Okay, we can see the green check mark here. Now let's join the resulting table with the events table. So go to events table, go to details, copy the table ID, come back, and I'm going to call the events table as E. Let's write the join condition. R dot event ID is equal to E dot ID. That's it. We have joined the tables. Now let's go back and filter the data. So we need to filter the round name by time trials and event name by California night. So let's copy the route name, go to the query and type the where clause where round name r dot name is equal to time trials and the event name is California Nights. Copy that. E dot name is equal to California Nights. So that's working. Now what? Now we have to calculate the fastest time, and fastest time is defined as the minimum value from the time column in the time trial clean table. Okay, so that's going to be min of t dot time. Beautiful. You can see the green check mark here, and we are going to label it as fastest time. Fastest time. Let's run the query. Beautiful. We get the result here. Let's check the progress. Okay, that's done. Now, task number 8, pilot heat statistic. So we have to reference these 3 tables: heat standing, event pilots, and pilots. I have already told you how to join event pilots and pilots. Let's inspect heat standings table and check how to join it with other tables. Okay, let's close all these fields. We don't need that. Heat standing. Okay, here you go. Now event pilots and pilot. Okay, let's inspect the schema of this table. Okay, we can find the event pilot ID field. Okay, we can use this field to join the event pilot table on the ID field. So let's first write the query. Here you go. I'm going to call the heat standing table as H, and I'm going to join the event pilot table. So go to that table, go to the details, copy the table ID, come back, and I'm going to call the event pilots table as E. So next thing is condition on H dot event pilot ID is equal to E dot ID. Okay, we can see the green check mark. Now let's join the pilot table. Copy the table ID. Now the condition E dot pilot ID is equal to P dot ID. Great. Now what? Now we have to filter out any DNF and MD times. Okay. So if we look at the heat standings, we can see minimum time field. It is a string field. Let's look at the preview. We can see that some fields are empty, right? It is not null. If it is null, we can see null here. It is empty, right? So let's filter out those fields. We can use a where clause here, where h dot minimum time not in DNF or an empty string. Okay, what else? we have to build a query that display points, minimum time, and heat ID of each heat for this player, right? So copy the player name, come back here. I want only rows that has details about this player. Green check mark is here. That means everything is good. Now let's take a look at the fields. We need pilot name, heat ID, minimum time, and points. So p.name as pilot name, then heat ID, right? H dot heat ID. What else? Minimum time and points. So H dot minimum time, H dot points. So that's it. Let's run the query. Okay. We get the output here. Let's go and check the progress. Beautiful. Now, task number 9. On task number 9, we have to calculate the running average. Okay. We can use this query and build upon it. Okay. Let's read about that. Here we can see they have provided some helper code here. We can use that. We have to filter out DNF and empty time. And these are the tables to reference. Heat standing, event pilots and pilots. Okay. The resulting query should have 5 columns: pilot name, heat ID, minimum time, points, and running average. Okay. Okay, let's go back to the query editor and let's reuse this query. I'm going to copy this and in a new editor window, I'm going to use common table expression. See, the common table expression is a powerful construct. Let's see how to use that. Okay. With temp, I'm going to name that as temp. Open parenthesis, closing parenthesis. Within that, I'm going to place it here. Okay. This is the same query from task number 8, right? Yeah. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select start from temp. You can see the green check mark here. That means everything is all right. Now I need to calculate the running average. So I'm going to use this helper code. I'm going to paste it here and fix it. Instead of ID, use heat ID. And yes, we can see the green check mark here. And let's run this. We can see the result here. Let's go back and check the progress. Completed. Now what? Now, task number 10, pilot time improvement. Okay. We have to build a query that display points, minimum time, heat ID, running average, and time difference. Okay. For this player. And our result should have 6 columns. So pilot name, heat ID, minimum time, points, running average, and time difference from average. So here is some helper code. We have to filter out DNF and empty times. So let's go back to BigQuery. Okay. All we have to do is we have to subtract this field from this field. Okay. So I'm going to reuse the query from task number 9. Let's copy this. Let's paste that here. Put a comma, create another CTE. I'm going to call this running as open parenthesis, closing parenthesis, and come back, copy this part from here, paste it here. Okay. Now let's type select star from running, if running. Okay. If everything is all right, we can see the green check mark. That's it. Now what? Now we can come back and use the helper code. Go back to BigQuery. Okay, instead of AVG, we have to use running AVG. Okay, you can see the green check mark. Let's run the query. We can see the result here. Okay, we have to label it. So let's go back. What was the label? Time diff average. Copy that. Come back as time diff average. That will do the job. Let's run the query once more. We will get the result here. This time we can see the label here. Let's go back and check the progress. Beautiful. We have completed all the tasks from task number 1 to task number 10. This is the bonus task number 11. Okay. We have to visualize pilot heat statistic. Okay. So first we have to build a query that display pilot name, points, minimum time, and heat ID. Okay. For all heat. So we are using these same 3 tables. So let's go back, copy this section, open a new query, paste it here. This time we need all players. So let's delete the filter, go back. Okay, this time filter out DNF, empty strings, and heat with a point score of 0. Okay, so let's add a new filter, h dot point not equal to 0, right? Okay, we can see the green check mark here. What else? We have to label the columns, name, minimum time, heat ID, and points. So, okay, just change the pilot name to name. Beautiful. Let's run it first. We can see the result here. It has name, heat ID, minimum time, and point. Let's go back. Name, minimum time, heat ID, and points. Okay. Okay, we have done that. Now what? Now we have to go to Data Studio and create a report, right? So let's click Explore Data. And okay, Data Studio is now Looker Studio. So let's explore with Looker Studio. Here we go. Okay, we can use this image as a reference. So, okay, we have to create a running delta for some of the points and sort it using heat ID. Okay, let's go back to Looker. Let's use line chart. Let's use heat ID as our dimension. And metrics, we have to change that to points and click the pencil icon. For aggregation, select sum. For running calculation, select running delta. Okay, now what? Now we have to sort it. Okay, sort it based on heat ID. Okay, let's select a player. Here we go. We have done that, right? Let's check our progress. Awesome job. We have completed all the tasks in this lab, and that's it. Okay, see you next time.